Okay, welcome to episode 4 on About Jobs TV Season 2. We've been talking on the Collector series, and today we're going to be talking about something totally different. Alright, so I need you to get your pen, your paper, get your friend, and grab all the motivation you can get. It's going to be different, hot, and getting you to a place in your career that you only imagined. See you after the break. So if you've been following the series, the Collector series, you know who Mr. Betiku is. You've heard what employers think about the staff that has. Today we're going to spotlight on the rolling stone that gathers no moss. What does that mean? We know what the phrase means itself, but in the world of work, there's something called a recruitment leper. That means somebody that an employer will see and not want to touch from a distance. We're also going to be looking at 2 types of staff, and you're going to identify which one you are and which one you want to become. Okay? So see you after the break as we go through the different kinds of staff. So everybody's telling you quit your job and start a business, but have you ever thought that running a business might be just as challenging or even more than keeping your job? Keeping Your Job is a book that was written to help you know what it you need to do to actually retain that position as the employee and move yourself forward up the ladder. Some people actually go out of paid employment because they are frustrated, they don't know how to fight in corporate politics, they don't know how to get the promotion that they want. So they think that the easier route is starting a business, only to find out that it's more difficult and you need the same fight that you didn't put in the place of employment. So instead of going through that whole process, there's a book called Keeping Your Job. Keeping Your Job gives you insight on what the employer thinks after 5 years. After 5 years, the employer is trying to get rid of you. How can you make them change their mind? There's something called the dinosaur employee, and that's the employee that begins to think that the new guy that comes in is bringing in innovation because he just doesn't know that it won't work. Are you the dinosaur employee? Get Keeping Your Job today and get tools and tips to hold on to your job in a dynamic labor market and push yourself up the ladder in the company where you are. You won't regret it. Keeping Your Job. So I told you before the break that we have different kinds of staff, right? There's the staff when the boss comes into the office and asks, do we have paper? The staff says no. In fact, we don't have paper, we've run out of pens, we've run out of stationery, we don't have petrol, and we don't have any more petty cash. So this staff's mind is focused on what we do not have. But there's the second kind of staff, the one that always says, but we still have. So when this one sees things, he looks out for what we have. So he always says, there's no petrol, but we still have diesel, and we can use the diesel generator. There's no paper, but we have notepads. There are no pens, but we have pencils. So which one are you, and which one do you think the employer will value? The staff that wakes up in the morning with a list of requisitions to the employer talking about what you do not have is a pain. But the staff that always points out what we have, what we can use what we have to translate to what we need to get, that's the staff that the employer is after. So which one are you, and how can you transition if you are the staff that focuses on what we don't have to the staff that focuses on what we have? We'll talk about it after the break. About Jobs TV is powered by the School of Performance. At the School of Performance, we provide books, courses, services that will help you move your career to where it has to be. So it's not enough to just watch About Jobs TV and get some snippets. You can get into the nitty-gritty of information and practical tools that can take you to the next level. We have books like Planning for a Good Job, Keeping Your Job, Mindset of the Employer versus Employee. We have courses like Secrets to Working Smarter, courses like the Ultimate Guide to landing your first job. We have the Career Planner, which is the ultimate solution to actually building the career of your dreams. The School of Performance is designed with practical information. This is information we got through experience with employers, employees, and people who are making things happen. So it is something to invest in. when you are building a career. Let me tell you, personal development is a non-negotiable in building the career to the next step. So what you know, but what you don't know might be keeping you from where you want to get to. Visit the School of Performance today. So you're the staff that sees what we have. How can you get there? It's a mind thing. Sometimes you're given a task and the first thing that your mind tells you is what you don't have or how you cannot do it. You need to retrain your mind to see what you have and to communicate what you need in a way that you are showing possibilities. So the frustration of the staff that always focuses on what we don't have is he's saying it as though it's a full stop. But we say, go and call Mark and tell him to be in the office in 5 minutes. The first thing the staff says is, I don't have credit. I don't have airtime. It's a full stop. But the person who is thinking of how to get the task done, he doesn't have airtime, but he remembers he has data. We can chat with WhatsApp. There's emails. There's other ways of communicating. So you have to look at the different ways to get to the goal than focusing on the resources that are not available. When you begin to tune yourself like this, you will become the one that every employer would want to keep in their space. Now, after the break, we're going to be looking at the recruitment leper. Recruitment leper, what does that even mean? How does someone become a leper in the world of recruitment? I'll talk to you about it after the break. Hello and welcome back. Now, remember that my company, AFCON Recruit Limited, that holds 4 brands, primarily handled recruitment before we launched out into different brands. Now, as a company, we were one of the recruiters that brought pep stores into Nigeria. By bringing them into Nigeria, I mean that we recruited the first set of managers. Now, in the process of recruiting managers, we noticed that the recruitment process was such that there will be a 13-week training, some of it in Nigeria, some of it out of Nigeria, and they were looking for a particular kind of staff that will stick to the process, follow instructions, and loyal. In looking for that kind of high-profile staff, there's something the employer must not say, and what's that? There are some CVs that show that people change jobs as rapidly as every 2 years, every 1 year, sometimes even 6 months. If you have a CV built like that, in the world of recruitment, you're known as a recruitment leper. Nobody wants to employ you. Why? Whatever your reason was for changing jobs so rapidly, what you're not seeing is that a company that takes you first invests time and resources in you for you to understand their vision, align with the vision, align with the role. You take the time and energy of the employer to get you settled into the company, and then suddenly you take. It's what we're talking about in the Collector series. Be more mindful about what you are amassing than what somebody did to you that you didn't like. And one of the traits of a recruitment leper is that you take everything personally. Somebody talked to you the way you didn't like, you're planning to leave the company. The boss doesn't appreciate you enough, you're planning to leave the company. They're not giving you enough benefits, you're planning to leave the company. Oh, this job is not allowing you to study enough, you're planning to leave the company. You're not thinking about how can I get what I want while I'm here, and how can I build value in such a way that they will give me everything I want. So if you found yourself in that space, understand what damage you're doing to your career and begin to adjust to spend at least 3 years minimum in a company. Get them to where they want to get to in terms of their goals. Show major things that you've achieved in that company before you move to the next phase. I'll see you after the break. Good day. I want to talk to you about a book called The Mindset of the Employer versus the Employee. You know how that every employer feels like their staff don't understand. What do they think their staff doesn't understand? They don't understand the cost of running a business. They don't understand the implications of their actions on the bottom line. And the employee at the same time feels like the employer just doesn't understand. What doesn't the employer understand? The employer doesn't understand what it takes for the employee to show up at work every morning, doesn't understand the arguments you have to go through at home, or he or she has to go through at home before leaving the house, doesn't understand the sacrifice of putting off their own vision to come and work for the employer. Well, I decided to write a book that will help both parties understand, the employer and the employee. The Mindset of the Employer is a book written from different work transaction experiences, letting the employer hear the voice of the employee in a way that they didn't understand before, so that they can gain the employee's engagement, and helping the employer communicate clearly their passions, their dreams to the employee in a way that the employee can digest. It is a must read for the employer and the employee. What's more, when you get the book, you get to attend one of the most exciting workshops, which is where we draw the drawing ring, the battle ring of the employer and the employee. These workshops will help so many companies build loyalties, will help employers create long-term careers for their employees, and will help employees settle down in their company and begin to deliver the value that the employer seeks. Get this book today. It will help change your mind about your employer and the employee. So you have learned how not to be a recruitment leper. You've also looked at what you can do to keep yourself very attractive in the workspace. So I hope these episodes have been helpful to you. Write to me, send me a comment below. Also, if you have stories about what you're going through in the workplace and you want to share and you want more insight, send us an email titled "I can't believe my boss did this to me," and then we'll respond. Thank you for joining. We'll see you the next time.